How do I want someone to feel at the end of the sales process? And okay, I want them to feel open, excited, energized, committed, trusting of my organization. These are just some things that come up for me as a business owner in the coaching space. And because you need it, right? It's a necessity in today's marketplace. And otherwise, you can get by as a small business owner, right? Like, don't get me wrong. If you want to be an old school small business owner and grind, and just show up to work every single day and just put in 10, 12 hours and just kind of be glued to your phone or your computer, hey, fair enough. Maybe you don't need these strategies. But if you're somebody who wants to scale your business and make it operational and maybe open up different locations and find a way to license or franchise or whatever it is that you want to do, the reality is you're going to need to be thinking in a more sophisticated way. So that's what we're here to do today. I have starting with the end in mind as well in my notes. And from my perspective, what that means is thinking about how I want the customer to feel at the end of an experience. And sometimes it's actually nebulous to say, what is the end of an experience? Because to your earlier point, we are actually interested in having a lifelong relationship with this customer, whether they purchase 100 times from us or 2 or 5 or even just 1. Either way, I still want to be somebody who has a relationship with this customer long term. But the reality is there are certain benchmarks or kind of like breakthrough moments or milestones that a customer might reach. And so sometimes it's just the initial phone call for sales, right? Let's use that as an example. How do I want someone to feel at the end of the sales process? And okay, I want them to feel open, excited, energized, committed, trusting of my organization. These are just some things that come up for me as a business owner in the coaching space. But, okay, if that's the end that I want them to reach, how can I reverse engineer that, right? What do they need to get at the very first? What do they need to see on social media that's going to help them engage? And then what do they need to get as soon as they click submit on my Calendly? What sort of confirmation do they need to receive? What sort of experience do they need to have with me when they're interacting with me on that phone call or on that Zoom call in order to produce that result? Because anything shy of that is suboptimal. And so that's the way you want to be thinking. How do I want them to feel at the end of each moment? All right, maybe that's a sales call. After it's a sales call, let's say they say yes, then it's another moment. What about the end of their first call? What about the end of their first month? What about the end of their first 3 months working with us? What about the end of the first year? If you're a product-based company, how do you want them to feel on the day they receive their product, right? How do you want them to feel on the day they order their product? And so just thinking about that is so important. And if you're not, again, they're going to get the form email that everyone sends them. And it's like, thank you for your order. Here's your confirmation number, right? And they might return it, right? Because they're like, I don't know that I really need this product anymore. They're going to change their mind. But if you give them a great experience, chances of returns go down. And chances of repeat business, if you give them a great experience, also improve, chances of a great review, etc. And building a relationship with this customer for the long term goes way up. So Mike, what's coming up for you?
Yeah, and especially with there's going to be times where, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to make it 100% perfect or seamless. Like, there's going to be some friction that's like unavoidable. It's just going to happen. So you could almost think with the end in mind where it's like, but Mike, you don't understand, like there's going to be some sort of delay in shipping, or there's going to be some sort of delay here, or there's going to be some sort of hold time. Like, we have a ton of an influx, like, so that brings up the question. It's like, how can you soften that gap, or soften the friction, or allude to it, or something to make them still feel like on the same team as you? Because you don't want them to become like a rival in the middle of the user experience. You want to be like empathetic, like, hey, I understand if I was running the business too, like there's no way around that. So I empathize with you. It happens, I'm still going to be patient, and I'm still a raving fan. So there's probably examples that we could think of, but it's important for you to think, if it's unavoidable, at least make sure they stay on the same team as you, and they don't become a rival. That's one thing that showed up for me. The other thing that showed up is a really beautiful example of this is, one of my clients. She's in the real estate space, and she does staging. She runs a staging company for real estate agents, and she does a really great job at it. And she had one of her clients that did staging, did business with her in the past. Kind of the communication kind of got stale. The conversation kind of went dry. So she said, how do I grab her attention again? So there's a principle called AIDA. If you've ever seen Glenn Ross, it's a good sales movie, but AIDA, attention, interest, decision, action. So it's if there ever is an end in mind, it's like how if there's friction, like there's no communication, there's distraction, whatever it might be, and you want to grab their attention again and create that interest. I said using the concept of giftology by John Ruhlin is a great way to grab attention. So let's grab her attention by sending her a meaningful gift. So she got a Cutco Petite Santoku knife, put it in a nice gift box, and put to the sharpest couple I know, and put their names on it. Put it in a nice gift box, sent it out, sent the white color so it stands out in their kitchen. And this is a woman who hasn't responded to a phone call or a text or an email in months, got the package, opened the package, and immediately got my client got a text and a call saying, this was awesome. I love Cutco. What a great gift. This is so cool. 2 days later, 48 hours, sent her 3 referrals for other clients and for properties that she can stage. And the point is, she grabbed their attention, got the interest, positioned her to make a decision, and put her into action, all by doing something meaningful for that client, because she's thinking with the end in mind. There's a lifetime value of this client and fostering this relationship. How can I close the gap? And sometimes it's just thinking in those terms of what you said, thinking with the end in mind. And if there is like this stale client, how do you re-go through the AIDA in that model? So I thought that was just something that triggered with me.